What is good? I am here, back in the crib, and as you see, I'm alive and well. Last night was a crazy challenge, but I gotta give you the good stuff. But if you know, you know. Anywho, won't be doing any more of those challenges for a bit. They're crazy. I will do crazier ones, just give it time, it'll happen. But we're gonna do Against the Ropes today. I'm gonna cover a man known as L.A. Knight, the megastar. Yeah. So, I'm familiar with his old ring name, Eli Drake. I think that's his real name from Impact Wrestling. If you don't know, check it out on YouTube. Eli Drake, if you're a wrestling fan. But I know him as L.A. Knight. So he signs, I believe he signed early in 2020 or 2021. I think 2020 because I remember he got fired from Impact, but didn't make his debut until March 3rd edition of NXT 2021. Beat a jobber. He had a nice little program with Bronson Reed, who is now in Impact, who is also good. Unfortunately, he was let go. Really good. LA got the win, of course. And he wasn't really doing much in that point. He fought for the NXT North American Championship in a six-pack challenge kind of thing. Then after that, he fought Dexter Lumis, and then once again wasn't doing much until his feud with Cameron Grimes, which again, if you don't know, check it out. Ultimately, he beat him to be the $1 Million Champion because somehow Ted DiBiase was in that feud, which was actually really nice. And then Cameron Grimes becomes LA's butler when LA beats Grimes again at the 4th of July edition of NXT. This was when it was 1.0, not the colorful 2.0 you see now. Which ultimately, Grimes gets fed up. DiBiase gets involved, telling him for weeks that you're your own man, stand up for yourself, which leads to a match where Knight puts his title on the line against Grimes. If Grimes wins, he's no longer the butler, he's free, he's champ. Yeah. But if Knight wins, DiBiase becomes his butler, Grimes is still free. You know how that goes. DiBiase interferes, Grimes wins. It was actually a really good match, but that was basically the gist of that. And then, again, LA wasn't doing much. He lost to Braun Breaker. Lost in the Fatal 4-Way for the vacant NXT title, which Ciampa won, which now I understand why. Then he had a small little program with Odyssey Jones. Things didn't really get going for him until he fought Grayson Waller, who's a guy I covered in my first video. Well, my first. But, yeah. They were first fighting over who's going to run Halloween Havoc, which Knight won, which keep that in your mind. Keep that in the back of your mind, because that will come into something else. They get there. They have a little bit of a segment arguing who's the host. Nothing really. Just Solo Sikoa debuts. I don't know a whole lot about him, but I can cover him down the road from what I've seen. But that's pretty much that. Waller eventually, somehow, Knight becomes the babyface, and Waller becomes the heel, so they basically switch roles. Which eventually leads up to an awesome War Games match where those two are on opposite sides. Waller hit this pretty cool leg drop from the top of the cage, which is cool. The NXT 2.0 team, Waller's team won, which was actually the right decision, and now seeing it now. Johnny Gargano's last match, of course, he's going to put over young talent. Ciampa, one of his last matches, because I feel like he's going to be mainly the main roster soon. And who knows, Ziggler might be a feud he's going to have for a while. Yeah, but this is not about him. This is about L.A. Knight. And then we get, after that, Knight basically is backstage segments, taking girls from Waller, doing his old tactics, but he's a babyface. Remember that. Waller eventually jumps him because originally Waller beat up Gargano the previous week, and that's how his real heel turn kind of got started. I covered him last time. Yeah. So that writes Knight off. I don't know if it was kayfabe or I don't know if it was a real injury, but yeah, Knight was written off. Knight returns on the January 11th edition because AJ Styles beat Waller and then said Waller's night's not over and here's his friend, which LA Knight's music hits, Waller panics, they brawl, Knight gets the upper hand. Waller gets a restraining order and a bodyguard the following week. That kind of plays, it's similar stuff the next few weeks. Waller costs Knight a match. Then Knight beats Sangha for the restraining order to be lifted. And then at Vengeance Day, it turns out, because Waller attacked Knight first, the restraining order is nothing because, yes, with restraining orders, one guy can't touch another, but the other guy can't touch him either. Waller thought it was Australia and thought it was only one way. Yeah. Knight beat him up. And then those two had a match the following week. Waller won that one because he cheated and grabbed his tights, which, remember, Waller lost to him in October when Waller was the babyface. So now they're 1-1. And tonight on NXT, they're going to be having a last man standing match, which is going to be good. So far, I've seen a lot of great things out of LA Knight. I love the man. He has so much charisma. For him, the main roster is going to be sooner than later, just because, just look at the guy. He looks like a world champ. He has so much charisma. He can cut great promos and just the stuff he does. And to be honest, this is what I think. I don't want him to lose, but I think he will lose to Waller. And that might be it for him on NXT because I don't see him doing anything else. Yeah, he didn't win the NXT title, but he doesn't need the NXT title to be great. He's already ready for the main roster. Just take one look at him. Look him up. LA Knight. The man is going places. He is a stud. Stay tuned for him. And he's probably going to be a world champion within the next couple years. Sooner rather than later. Again, if you want yogurt, subscribe, man. What are you waiting for? But that's all the time I have. I figure I'd give you this edition of LA Knight, the megastar. Let me know what else you want me to do. In the summertime, I'm going to come at you with how many shots I can make on my basketball net to see my percentage and do it on the real net. Do all kinds of stuff. I'm going to have a wrestle talk later on. I'm going to have another outdoor adventure. I'm going to have all kinds of stuff for you. Stay tuned. Stay safe. Be loved. You're the mist, which I mean best. Yes, shout out to Monsters and Water. Ta-ta for now, folks. So remember, subscribe.